What you want to know. What you need to know. Talk 1470. WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to Wait No More, Just Ask Jude. Are you struggling with food, body, and weight? If so, you are not alone. Millions are struggling to lose weight, chronically dieting, yo-yo dieting, emotionally eating, overeating, and binge eating. As a certified mind-body eating psychology coach, I am honored to be part of a new movement, and I can promise you this, it has nothing to do with willpower. You're not lazy and you're not crazy. Join me, Jude, each week as I shine a light on food, body, and weight that's so cutting edge and new. To be part of the conversation, call us at 888-565-1470. Find out why food determines your mood and mood determines your food. Good evening and welcome to Wait No More, Just Ask Jude. As a certified eating psychologist, I help you to discover the root cause of why you may be carrying excess weight. I also help you to understand why you may be chronically dieting, yo-yo dieting, overeating, emotionally eating, or binge eating. And I help you to see the connection between your relationship with food and your relationship with life. For more information about my eating psychology coaching, please call me at 775-846-0075 or email me at justaskjude@gmail.com. And if you'd like to be part of the conversation or if you have a question or comment, please call in at 888-565-1470. I'd love to hear from you. You know, in just a little bit, we're going to be having a very special guest caller calling in. His name is Billy Woods, and he's going to be sharing his story of grief, loss, and depression. And, you know, I can't wait to hear what he's got to say. But first, let's take a look at some musings and facts about depression. It's experienced about 7% by our population, and it can be crippling. And, you know, I think it's a lot higher of a percentage than that. It's said that 8 to 10% of the U.S. population is on an antidepressant medication, and that antidepressant medication use has been increasing dramatically. You know, by the way, certain antidepressant medications are responsible for weight gain and weight loss resistance. Some of these are Elavil, amoxicillin, norepinephrine, and atropine, and many, many more. Women ages 40 to 59 in the United States have the highest rate of depression at 12.3%. I'm all too familiar with depression. I've suffered from depression my whole life. You know, my parents were very depressed people, and very understandably. I mean, they lived through the Holocaust. They were actually in work camps, but they did live through the Holocaust. I remember my mom telling me a story of having a gun held to her head at 15 years old. I could never even imagine what they went through, and it's very understandably that they would be depressed. And I loved my parents very, very much, but my sister and I really were subjected, you know, to that vibrational energy of depression. And so luckily, I chose, you know, not to take the antidepressant medication route. However, in certain circumstances and for short term, it's very, very beneficial. You know, depression can impact the health of the body, and it's been linked to diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and multiple sclerosis. I cannot stress enough how your mind really controls your body. So it's so important to manage and control your thoughts. Depression affects gut health, and it could even have a genetic link, and is said to have a genetic link, and depressed brains look different to imaging studies. You know, depressed people don't necessarily look depressed. I had a lot of people fooled. The American Psychiatric Association tells us that depression is a serious medical illness. They also tell us that the main risk factors in depression are biochemistry, genetics, personality, and environmental factors. But if you'll notice in this paradigm, it's first and foremost about the chemistry of the body rather than our inherent personality or the people and circumstances around us. Collectively, we tend to fear depression. We are very quick to medicate it, and this is an incomplete view of depression. We haven't really looked at depression in a more complete, holistic, and soulful way. Depression is truly the most misunderstood emotion experienced in the world. And it's not nearly as depressing as we think. Depression is far more than a medical illness. And it's way more interesting and more deep than a mere biochemistry. Depression has a lot to teach us. And not just for the person experiencing depression. So let's take a deeper look at depression. It's a descent into the underworld, a sacred journey, so to speak, into the unknown. We can look at it as self-soul retrieval, a spiritual withdrawal from the world and into our own depth. It's a natural rhyme or reason of the soul. It's even described in Greek mythology as a visitation from the gods. And it's seen itself as the cure, not the disease. And you know what? I tend to see that because if you think about it, God gave us the gift of emotions, right? And our emotions are like a GPS, if you will. You know, they let us know. They send us messages if we're creating the life that we truly desire and that we're truly in alignment with. For instance, I mean, if you're feeling joyous and happy and peaceful and you want to go to that party and, you know, you want to be around other people and you're just feeling wonderful, you know, chances are that these emotions are sending you the signal and the message that you are building the life of your desires and you are in alignment with your purpose and who you truly are. But if you're constantly crying and you don't want to go to that party and you're sluggish and you have no energy and you tend to isolate and you're just downright feeling depressed, your depression is sending you the message that, hey, you might have to take a left or a right or even do a U-turn. It's that GPS that is telling you, you know, you might want to look at something here in your life. You might want to make a couple of tweaks or changes. So depression really is not such a bad thing, right? I mean, it's just kind of waking us up and saying, hey, you know, we might want to reevaluate some things. So, you know, it can be genetic to some degree. It can be related to our diet, to our gut health, to food allergies, to our biochemistry. You know, and it may also be for many people, you know, just a necessary place that we go simply because it's just part and parcel of the human experience. You know, we're humans and we have emotions and our emotions are not going to go away. We haven't been taught really at a young age to manage our emotions. And they certainly don't teach you that at school. So, you know, it's just simply just because it's just part and parcel of the human experience. And so we really need not look at it as such a bad thing. You know, there's a natural and undeniable depth to depression. It asks us to remove ourselves from the world and to go within. It often asks us to reevaluate our lives, and it asks us to discover what is truly important to us. Oh, thank you. I think we have a phone call. Hi, Billy. How are you tonight?
Hi, Jude. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm so great, Billy. It's so great to hear your voice. And, you know, I was telling the listeners that we have a very special guest caller tonight and that you'd be calling in and, just sharing your story of grief, loss, and depression. We've been talking about depression here on the show, and, a little bit, Billy, about how the naturally sourced award-winning weight loss system has really given you some relief from your grief. So just to let the listeners know, Billy is a dear, dear friend of mine, and we actually met, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, Billy. I was actually going out to Reno, Nevada to do a television show. There was a very highly rated health show that was interested in the award-winning weight loss system that I'm associated with and that Billy is associated with to this day. And, I met his lovely fiance, Carmen, and Billy. And I remember, Billy, having that first breakfast with you. And I remember you were just so quiet and just, I guess I sensed your depression, and you didn't really say much of anything, but, as we've gotten to know each other and as, the products, you've gained such an interest in them, you're changing so many lives, and you've become such an amazing weight loss coach. So I just wanted to let the listeners know just a little bit about our history together, and I can't wait to hear your compelling story, Billy, and I want to thank you so much for calling in tonight. I love you, and take it away.
All right. Well, I'm definitely no stranger to depression, and it's kind of followed me my whole life, Jude. And then in 2009, I met the beautiful Carmen, and all of a sudden my life had some real purpose, real meaning. I was able to share my life with this lovely woman, and we were just having a great time and stuff. And then 2012, I lost my son, and he was hit by a vehicle, 26 years old. And from there, I was down in the dumps again. I lost focus. I lost desires for a lot of things, like eating,
right,
taking care of myself, and so I was ready to just go see a doctor. And I told Carmen that, I'm going to go see a doctor and get on some of those meds. I think it's going to help. And the very next day, she came to me with a product that was just outstanding, and so.
Yeah, she saw it on Facebook. I was actually posting on Facebook.
Yes, absolutely. It was your post. Thank you for that post.
You're so welcome.
It took care of my depression. The focus came back. And then in 2017, we lost my aunt. We were expecting it and stuff, but
I remember that, Billy. I remember that.
It was a hard time for
yes.
all, and then 6 weeks after we lost my aunt, we lost Carmen.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I still can't believe it. It's been a year, right, Billy? It's been a year.
It's been 2 years.
2 years?
2 years in February.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm so sorry, Billy. I miss her so much.
I do too. Very much. But you know what? She probably put us together before she left the planet, and here we are.
Here we are.
Again.
Yeah. She's shining down on you, Billy, and she's so proud of you, and you've become such an amazing coach. You're really carrying on her dream. Carmen loved this naturally sourced award-winning weight loss system, and she lost a ton of weight, didn't she, Billy?
She lost 75 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really quickly. How long did that take her?
It actually took her 9 months to lose that.
Wow, 75 pounds in 9 months. That's amazing. Well, yeah, and she was getting really healthy, and she was doing so great. And then all of a sudden, it was just this amazing, I believe it was a stroke that took her, wasn't it?
It was.
Right.
And she was in the best health of her life.
Yes, she was.
Her mindset was better than ever, which just goes to show you that when it's your time, it's your time.
Right.
None of us are going to avoid that.
Well, you really are carrying on, a dream for her, and you've become just such a wonderful coach, Billy, and you're changing lives all the time. And, let's go back to these products that we're talking about because, we in no way, shape, or form claim to treat, cure, or mitigate any disease or condition, but I'm going to hold up two products, and you're probably not watching right now, Billy, but one of them's a blue pill, and one of them is a yellow pill, and I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. The Zing is our happy pill. It's our mood booster, fat torture, and industrial strength appetite suppressant all in one. And then we've got our XR2, which is just cuts the edge, right, Billy? It just makes you feel just beautiful and heal and just kind of just amazing. Kind of cuts the edge of everything. So, Billy, which of these products do you really think contributed most? And once again, we don't claim to treat, cure, or mitigate any disease or condition, but which do you think, or both, contributed most to giving you some relief from your grief and depression?
Well, definitely both. You know, a lot of that is, you know, nutritional. The more nutrition you get in your body, your brain thinks better, you know, your body feels better.
Absolutely.
Fights depression a little bit there. Yeah, definitely the blue pill would be my definite pick. For
the XR2. Yeah, I love these. Yeah. These are amazing. I mean, they're actually on the 8-day jump start, just so the listeners know that. And you actually take 2 of these after dinner. I mean, I'm just talking about relating to the 8-day jump start, which is our 5 to 15 pound and 8-day promise on the 8-day jump start. You would take 2 of these a half hour after dinner, and it's got another appetite suppressant. Now, Billy Woods did not need to lose weight. It was his fiance that was looking for the weight loss. But the reason I brought these on the show tonight, Billy, is because, you know, they really do. I mean, we've heard so many testimonies of people being able to get off their antidepressants. And I know for you, Billy, you were looking for some medication when you found these products. And so you went the natural route with the XR2. So I think that's wonderful.
Absolutely. And, you know, I went to a doctor after Carmen passed. That my high blood pressure checked out, and I asked her for medications that time, the second time around, and my doctor actually said no. She said the XR2.
Did he really? Wow.
Yeah, she said that everything that I needed was in the XR2.
Wow, but that's a miracle for a doctor to say no to medication,
like, okay.
Because you know, well, I'm not gonna. That's a different show, but well, that's wonderful. Because, you know, I am so into the holistic, natural way. So I'm so happy for you, Billy, that you were able to find some relief from both these products. And tell everyone about the Zing. I'm sure it's one of your favorites.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes the Zing can be a little too much for me. I want to cut it down sometimes or take an accelerate. But the Zing is definitely a mood enhancement, like on to believe. The energy, oh my gosh, it was like I'm bouncing off the walls. I felt like I was 12 years old again, you know, and I'm like 56, and I was like, oh my gosh, where's all this energy coming from?
Wow, right? It's amazing.
Done in a week, and I mean, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
When we first started this, you know, and Carmen, she felt a little bit of a detox symptom with hers, and so she laid down pretty much for 3 days.
Yeah. Well, it is a detox. It is a detox. So you might get some symptoms from that. And the one thing that people really need to understand is that, unfortunately, when toxins are released at a fast rate, there might be a little uncomfortability. Some people have none. You know, some people have kind of mild. Some people have a little more than that. But unfortunately, it's the only way to release the toxins.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just got to kind of go for it. We've got all our little remedies that we tell people to do if they've got a slight headache or, you know, whatever it may be, if they're feeling fatigued or, you know, whatever it is. We have all our remedies that we give them. So we're all good to go.
Drink more water.
Yeah, drink more water. Absolutely. So, Billy, tell us a little bit about why you decided to dedicate your life to sharing this blessing, because you're a wonderful coach, and I know you've changed a lot of lives, and you know, like Eileen, for instance, lost 200 pounds. I think that's pretty incredible, and she's got an amazing story herself. I'll have to have her on the show one night. So just explain, you know, why you decided to go on and dedicate your life to sharing this blessing.
Well, first of all, when we'd have transformation parties at our house, and we'd invite people over, and they would come in, and they're just all sad and looking down, and sluggish and stuff. And I would sit and talk to them about this and give them a sample. Mm-hmm. And within 20 minutes, they're sitting up straight.
Yeah.
Their eyes are bright. It's like, hello, I'm awake now. And that was one of the greatest feelings that I've ever had.
Wow.
My whole life. And I know that Carmen loved this. Uh-huh. And it was one of Carmen's dreams.
It really was. Yeah.
In fact, my new website is Carmen's Dreams.
That's so awesome, Billy. And, I always think of Carmen. Carmen is a huge reason that keeps me going. I mean, days that I feel like throwing in the towel, I always think of Carmen. It's crazy, but she tends to come into my mind at really peculiar moments. And, of course, I miss her. I'll always miss her. And I actually have a video of her sharing her Carmen's Coffee Corner, with sharing the products. And, yeah, I mean, she's just such an angel, was always a true-to-life angel, and now she's a heavenly angel and a very busy angel. And, Billy, I want to really thank you for sharing your grief and loss with us, because I can't even imagine. I mean, I recently lost my mom. I lost Dad 7 years ago, and I recently lost my mom. And, my parents hit me hard, but there was something about losing my mother that was really over the top. And, very depressed losing my father, but it was once I think I lost both my parents, part of me just totally changed and will never be the same again. Yeah. So to lose a son, I could not even imagine. I could not even imagine the grief. To lose the love of your life, could not even imagine. And your aunt, you've just had so much loss in your life, Billy, that I remember when I was taking the course at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, and there was a gal who lived with her parents, obviously lived with her parents, but until they passed away is what I wanted to say. So her parents passed away, and she went to move in with her grandparents who passed away. Then she married, and her first husband passed away. Oh. And I thought of you, Billy, and I thought, okay, well, Billy Woods isn't being singled out here. It happens to people. But I couldn't even imagine, Billy, the pain and what you've endured, especially these last 2 years. And I know this past year was really kind of difficult for you. So I'm so glad that you're back. And we're going to change lives together. And we have so many lives to change, Billy. How do the listeners get in touch with you? Please reach out to Billy. He's amazing. And he will help you every step of the way. Billy, how do the listeners get in touch with you?
Well, there's a couple of different ways. One is through email. And the email is all one word, Billy Woods 0912 at iCloud.com.
Well, I actually have Billy's Health and Wellness at gmail.com. Is that not right?
That one is, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
okay.
What I was trying to remember.
So Billy's Health and Wellness at gmail.com. Okay.
And a phone number, which is good to either call or text. Maybe start with a text, and then we can get on the line together.
Okay.
Is 530
All right.
394 8888.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, I am so thrilled that you called in tonight, Billy, and, really shared a very intimate, personal, painful story. But I you inspire me, Billy Woods. You always will. I love you. And I am so looking forward. Fasten your seatbelt, because we're going to change a lot of lives together, Billy Woods.
I'm ready for it. I always am.
I love you, Billy. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much again for calling in and making my show a hit tonight. I will speak to you soon, and God bless.
Good night, honey. Thank you.
Bye, Billy. You know, I just love, the quote, if you knew their story, you'd love them. You gotta love Billy Woods. And he is just the kindest, most genuine, will give you the shirt off his back type of guy. I just love him. I'm blessed to have him in my life. And please reach out to him. He's an amazing coach. So I think we left off at, we were talking about depression and just the various things that, just require our, positive look to kind of shine that positive light on depression, because it really often asks us to reevaluate our lives. That's a good thing. Just like I had mentioned before, with our emotions, which depression is, that they are our GPS. And so if we're not feeling particularly well, we're kind of reflecting on maybe having to tweak something, change something, reevaluate something, take a left, take a right, do a U-turn, whatever it is. So that could be a very positive thing. And it asks us to discover what is truly important to us. It also asks to find the place inside us that wants to be here and chooses to be alive. Depression is considered to have many possible personal triggers. It could be any kind of upset. It could be a death, and Billy Woods sure knows that. Depression can seemingly come out of nowhere. It could be connected to success or a lack of purpose or meaning. Well, we've got 2 minutes left, and I'll talk about depression more so on a later show, but it makes perfect sense that we fear depression. It can be debilitating, and it's one of the most difficult experiences we can have. Our instinct is to often fight it, get rid of it, now, quickly, and at all costs. And yet, depression can be life-changing, and ultimately in a good way. It takes courage and heroism to go down into the soul's depths, and it's time for medical science to focus on the worldly reasons why any human would be depressed. We have injustice, poverty, homelessness, economic disparity, abuse of animals, media programming, government corruption, and the list goes on and on. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and making my show a hit. Tremendous thanks to Billy Woods for calling in tonight and sharing his compelling testimony. Join me next week as I give you an inside peek at the naturally sourced award-winning weight loss system. It's your solution to your New Year's resolution. This show is dedicated to my dad, whose birthday is today. Good night. Thank you for tuning in and making my show great. Remember, food determines your mood, and your mood determines your food. See you next week on Wait No More, Just Ask Jude.
The opinions expressed